people that are really interested in the fiction and want to find the exploration content that's available.
And we're also tweaking and polishing at this phase, because the game's been playable from start to finish for a while now. But really, we're just polishing, tweaking, cutting, editing, and those things will and balancing. So a lot of those things will also impact on how long the game is for the average game. So at this point, we don't even have a hard figure. And at least for myself, it's interesting to see how we're seeing different gamers play it differently. Exactly. So like you said, somebody likes to run away, and others like to go more into combat. And usually, when you start asking them questions of what's the last games you've been playing, those have an influence on how they play as well. But it seems that it adapts well to different playing styles, which is nice.
And just to go back on what Matthias said as well, so some players will choose to walk, some players might choose to take a car. Obviously, that's all affecting the time of the gameplay.
Yeah, but can you name like the lowest amount of time when you can run the game faster?
At this point we have no number, but it will be. I mean, you'll be satisfied if that can be the best answer I can give you. You will be satisfied. I have no other answer.
No, that's.
I will believe you on that.
That's his personal
guarantee. Come after me.
I will.
Is there will be different endings?
No. We want to tell one strong story and put everything into building.
But you say that you can find not crucial to the main line pieces of the manuscript, and get another
There's more layers to it. There's more layers to it.
It's something like the Rising Heaven. Like when you go through the game, you don't get like a bit of a story, but if you play it well and start to find something interesting, you got the gist of it.
Okay. But I think Sam our writer has a clear vision of the story he wants to tell, and I think that's almost as old as time itself. People would sit around, gather around a fire, and somebody would tell a story. And I think that's really what we're doing, is we want to convey a story that we're telling, as opposed to creating multiple choices.
Instead of a fire, now we have an Xbox, which is that kind of medium to communicate.
In early years, we were having the radio show, which was like one guy was reading the books and the other one, she was playing the music to build up the expression of the writings. So I thought the music kind of really cool, and it fits really well with the game. It's really pushing up the feelings that you need to get to understand the story.
We've got some really, really talented guys back home in-house as well, working on the music.
Yeah, I mean, the composer we have is Ben Bialanko. He's a very talented composer. In addition to that, we also have our in-house audio team, and then we also have we're working a lot with the ambience and the sound effects as well. So we have Microsoft helping on that. Then we have some Hollywood talent on the West Coast doing certain sound effects. Then we also have a company from Germany who's helping us create some. So we're putting a lot of resources into the audio, and I think that's audio and the voice acting is really important, especially for a title that's should be emotional and should hopefully evoke feelings of joy, fear, maybe intrigue, excitement, and adrenaline. And we want that the audio to really work to boost that. So I'm really happy you liked it, because it's something that we put a lot of time into, and a lot of people are working on it.
So I have another question. Maybe I missed it while out, but you see, through the gameplay, you're searching for pieces of a novel. And everyone tells you a story, a piece of a story. Is it possible to pick up all the pieces and collect and finish the whole novel?
That was one of the first questions. And just to go back on that, so I mean, what Matthias said as well. So consider ourselves storytellers. Imagine you sit around a fire and there'd be one guy that tells a really good story. Now he tells that story, and when he's finished the story, some people will be satisfied with the story that he told and kind of break off and do their own thing, and then there will be a few people that will go back to him and say, so what did this part mean? And you talked about this person, tell me a little bit more about that. And they want to scratch in more into that story and talk more with him and get to know more about it. So that's what the manuscript pages are about. Something to please everybody. I want to go, and I want to go, so what did you mean about that? And I want to hear more about the story. And that's what the manuscript pages are. That you scratch the surface, you get the basic story, and then you can start digging in further and finding the manuscript pages to really understand more depths and layers to the fiction.
Are there any existing plays on the Earth that inspired you to make this environment? Because you have seen a lot of pineapple trees, a lot of cracks, a little bit of Finland, a little bit of Northern Europe. Maybe do you have any special place?
It's Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of research into Washington State, Oregon, and the surrounding areas. So we've sent our teams out there maybe three times now, and they've taken like
thousands and thousands of photos of vegetation, of landscape,
just to make sure everything's right
and authentic.
And so, and in addition to that, we've done a lot of background research into tornadoes, into the weather, into the biology of the area, and we also work with some of the people on our team. We have, for example, a landscape architect, so he'll understand the formations of nature, and some other people who have training in those areas, and also a location scout. So we've used doing films to find interesting locations. So there's a lot of meticulous detail that goes in there, and
We've got a lot of help from Microsoft as well.
yeah, because Microsoft is fairly it's located in Washington State as well. So we've gotten really like, can you please go and take
a picture of that plant.
Yeah. And so we got 50 pictures of a plant, so we can model it accurately. And they've also gone into the woods to just with microphones to get the sound of the wind and the night and the forest over there just right. And sometimes it's a bit obsessive, but I think it shows. It's hard to quantify, how much is everybody seeing it?
Right.
But if you do it really well all around, I think it shows.
Across the board, yeah.
So you mentioned tornadoes and other stuff. Yeah, the game already have a really good look at how the cold is coming out to your darkness, and the lighting itself is really awesome. Yeah, it doesn't have anything to make a game around this light. Did you create the cool light effects first and then deciding to make the game all around the light, or it was opposite? So you just decided to make a good game with the light and then build the technology
So the technology is built from the ground up. I mean, when we set out to do this project, and the guys came up with a great idea. I mean, I think we looked out there and see if there was anything that could accommodate this kind of concept, and there wasn't. So I mean, really, that's part of the development process, to build that technology to incorporate everything with light and dark. So it's fully supporting the story, and it's again about bringing an authentic piece to the market. It's all part of it.
I think it's getting a game some philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, actually. Well said. Yeah, that's well said.
It's funny because usually, you can see quality of texturizing, quality of polygons on 3D while looking on water.
Right.
It always was a test for a game.
Yeah.
You managed to do much more with the light.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh,